Now, if you look at the iPhone 16 and the 16 Plus, they come in these cool new colors, ultramarine, teal, and a new deeper pink as well. The first thing that you can distinguish between this particular device and any older iPhone and avoid all those memes and jokes is by the camera placement. Now, was that done because they wanted to record spatial video, a lot more content for the Apple Vision Pro? This is how it is now. And in terms of what they've done with the colors, they've fused it in with the glass. A lot of work has actually gone under the hood as well. But what I really think is that this year, the gap between the standard iPhone 16s, the 16 and 16 Plus, and the Pro models has sort of been bridged to a large extent. And I'll tell you why. Because in terms of the Pros, usually you got the action button. Now you have the action button over here. A lot of people will be upset that you don't have the silence mute key anymore. That was easier to toggle with. Now you have an action button. You can customize whatever you want on that button. It's there on the Apple Watch Ultras. It's now also there on the base iPhone 16. You also have camera controls. That's this capacitive touch button that we've been talking about since last week, and everyone's been saying, is this worth the upgrade? Now, I've been saying for a long time, this is a learning curve. You got to get used to how this button really works. And of course, you have photographic styles as well, which come in the new iPhones. But the minute you set everything up, and we've been taking a lot of shots on this, it's kind of interesting now that I'm back here at Tech Today HQ and I've gotten used to using this capacitive touch slider. It's a lot like the trackpad on your MacBook or the trackpad on your iPad Magic Keyboard. That's largely how it feels. You have to experience it to really see whether this is up your alley. But if you're talking about comparing it with the Pro, this feature comes to the Pro and of course to the standard iPhone 16s as well. So that's a bunch of hardware aspects where we see similarities with the Pro models and the non-Pro models. But this one now has an A18 chipset. It's jumped a couple of generations, so it's also been given a lot more power under the hood. Now, so many upgrades with the hardware, but one thing that hasn't changed, and Apple doesn't seem like they're changing this anytime soon, is that it still comes with a 60Hz screen in 2024. Now, of course, you have the option of shelling out the big bucks and buying a Pro model for a 120Hz screen, but when you compare it to the Android world, and not just the flagships, even mid-range phones, 120Hz is almost a standard feature. So that's something a lot of people wonder why Apple has done, but for now, it's still a 60Hz screen in 2024 on the iPhone 16. Now, there's big changes in the camera department as well. It's not just the placement of the sensors. The 12-megapixel ultra-wide can shoot macro shots as well. So if you're a camera photography enthusiast, that's a big change with the new iPhone 16. One takeaway from the Apple event when I was in Cupertino was that all creators unanimously were happy with the fact that you can now shoot 1080p 240 FPS. That is some cinematic stuff on this particular phone when you're talking about video. That, coupled with the fact that you have this capacitive camera control, means that you can do a lot more pro things on this base iPhone 16. So better camera, slow-mo videos now on the iPhone 16, but if you want to run Apple Intelligence, you can do that on the 15 Pro and the Pro Max from last year, but now you can do it across the iPhone 16 lineup. Apple says that they're built from the ground up for Apple Intelligence. So that means you need to give this more RAM. That's also increased on the iPhone 16. This perhaps must be the most inexpensive iPhone. It actually is the most affordable iPhone running Apple Intelligence. All those cool features about proofreading, emails, maybe summarizing, notes, and all the cool things you can do with Siri. It's a lot more contextual, it's a lot more personal, but those features will be rolling out in the next few months, continuing into the first quarter of 2025. But if you want to future-proof yourself, you have to upgrade to the iPhone 16 for Apple Intelligence. If you're using an iPhone 11, 12, 13, 14, even a 15, the non-Pro models especially, then you're not going to get Apple Intelligence. If you want to jump onto the AI bandwagon, well, this is the device that you can start off with, the iPhone 16. That said, I've been flooded with requests and messages, people basically asking me whether they should upgrade to the standard iPhone 16. Now, the traditional upgrade rule applies if your phone is more than 2 or 3 generations older. That means if you're running an 11 or a 12 or a 13, you can consider upgrading, of course. But if you're on the 14 and if Apple Intelligence isn't really bothering you, it's not something you really want to try right now because it is work in progress. It's something that'll get better maybe in the months to come, and it'll be a perfect product, I think, closer to the iPhone 17. Then you can wait it out, save up, and perhaps give this one a miss, because some of these updates are incremental. But if you are shelling out the money to upgrade, this is a very competent device this year around.